Hello, and welcome to Change the Face of Yoga, teaching toddlers through golden oldies. I'm very excited to be talking to lots of yoga teachers who will explain their passion for teaching yoga to students with different ages, physical fitness levels, wellness levels, and different goals. They will explain the benefits of yoga for these students and will be including teacher tips and pose modifications. I am Stephanie Cunningham of Yoga Lightness, and I've been teaching over 50s for 10 years. So this area is my passion and the passion of many other yoga teachers that you will be listening to in this series. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get started. This is episode 57 of Changing the Face of Yoga, and we're going to talk about infertility today and how the spectrum of health support like Ayurveda, yoga, Pranyama, meditation can be used to help. Let's listen. Hello, this is Stephanie Cunningham with Changing the Face of Yoga, and I have a very interesting guest today, Vinaya Saunders. Vinaya is a holistic wellness coach, an Ayurvedic practitioner, a master healer, founder of the yoga style Vinayam. I have real trouble with that. And she is the creator of From Infertility to Delivery to help women who want to become moms. So she's really doing a lot about changing the face of yoga, showing us that even fertility can be helped by some kinds of yoga. Vinaya, would you like to add anything to that introduction?
It was perfect, Stephanie. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be with you here today.
So we're going to talk about this infertility to delivery program because I think that sounds very interesting. How did you get into that? How did you find that as an area that you wanted to help people with?
I've been teaching for a long time now, and I happen to start with corporate world, as in I go into big corporate companies to teach yoga. And I had several clients who were in their 40s, and I was pregnant, and they said there were people who really enjoyed looking at me grow big. And there were a few women who kind of were hesitant to come to my class after a certain time. And then I had to ask them, hey, what's the deal? So it took one woman who really changed the way I saw womanhood. I mean, not that I wasn't aware of it, but this was something that I had never seen before. So she gave me this perspective of she hesitates to go out in summer because she sees a lot of women be pregnant. And it was very hard for her to get pregnant. And she feels very jealous looking at pregnant women. And that was why she was avoiding my classes all of a sudden. That hurt me somewhere.
My daughter told me the same thing, that when she was pregnant, she noticed pain on some other women's faces looking at her.
I kind of came to a point where I thought, you're a woman. You have your uterus. What is that is blocking you? Like, what's the root cause? I did take up Ayurvedic gynecology as advanced studies, so I could go into depth of why English medicine has no other solution except get on to fertility treatment or get a donor egg or just go on like a farm-produced babies. And Ayurveda places a lot of importance on our future. Like our future generation is supposed to be top quality. I mean, when we buy our cell phones, we think, is it brand new version? Is it good? What's the memory for it? Or so many things. And we don't think about donating these babies into our future and what are their qualities. Then at the same time, I came across a lot of women who went through infertility treatment, had babies, but their babies had so many imbalances. So there were clients of mine who used to say, oh, my daughter has this allergy, that allergy, or my son is going through so many other things. I'm like, what's the reason for it? And it came to a point where the woman has either consumed a lot of birth control pills or she's gone through fertility enhancement through medicinal doctors. So these issues really told me to kind of push me to a place, was like, what else can I help these women with? And these women are in their 40s, and Ayurveda classical text, which is 4,000 years old, fascinated me with depth of how they really explain women's uterus in just 4 sentences of Sanskrit, how they tell the definition of sperm, what its qualities are in just a matter of 2 sentences, and without any equipment to see internal organs. So I kind of realized that these ancient sages knew something that the English medicine does not know right now. English medicine is hardly 200 years old, 300 years old. It solves all the symptoms, but not necessarily go to the root cause. And that just really gave me a lot of insight. And I've been working with women over 40s because ancient classical text says if a woman has a regular menstruation, she has a good, loving partner, she is stable with her mind, not too stressed, she can conceive. And that's where my journey began with few of my clients and giving them herbs that was recommended by classical text. And soon I started seeing a lot of results with 5 women who really made it through pregnancy, have 8-pounder babies.
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised myself. And these babies are beautiful. And especially when medicinal field really tells you, 35 is the last number that you can really, conceive. I'm seeing a lot of changes in women, and since I do healing, I got to go towards the root cause of why there is certain imbalance in uterus. Why are these women not able to conceive? Usually it is bad mother parenting or wrong parenting, sexual abuse, and the other main cause is not being happy in a woman's body.
Those are pretty serious.
So very serious because I generally take up these clients and tell them, even if I can't really offer you to be pregnant, your motherhood dream, but I will clearly promise that the uterus will be stronger and you will have a good menopause. Because that's one thing that I usually guarantee. But if they have babies, yes. But through the process, I put them through healing too, so that I know energetically where the imbalance is, not necessarily just the diet and detox part. So that's when I came across so many women coming out with all these kind of issues where the root cause goes deeper. And some of them we're still working on, like with the herbs, and I'm sure there will be some results at the end of it. But rest of them, we still need to work to remove those patterns of thoughts that has been there inside their body from early childhood.
These root causes are basically emotional or trauma-based than some physical issue.
Yes, and that reflects on your physical body too later on, and that's mostly that's the reason why these women have so many imbalances when it comes to their uterus.
I see.
And conceiving. That's
really quite interesting. I'd never thought of it that way before. So it isn't because, as we've been told by Western medicine, it isn't because you're old and the body just isn't capable of getting pregnant. It's something else.
I'm still going deeper into it, as in, like, there are many clients who come up, but you don't know what their lifestyle has been. And if they have been on birth control pills, it's hard to really keep the progress going, because even infertility treatment, for that matter, 2 of my clients have gone through it, and one infertility treatment can leave a woman's body like a dry bread, especially the uterus. So the process prolongs in such scenarios. And they're emotionally devastated. So there's a lot more that I have to do as a healer, and also with the diet.
You're bringing in your ability to heal, the Ayurvedic philosophy and information. Is there any yoga pauses or pranayama or meditation that you also bring in?
Yes, everything is interconnected. So it's not just we take care of our energy field or our diet. Of course, yoga plays a big role because every yoga pose is like an antenna to receive cosmic energy. So once you master one pose, you transform even in your thoughts, even in the way you perceive the world. Yoga, yes. Pranayama is the most important because most of the women issues of infertility is due to vata imbalance. Mm-hmm. And vata is the main cause for all these things. And pranayama is the best medicine for any vata imbalance, whether it's stress, whether it's downward energy being blocked. Yeah, all those things play a big role in changing diet, routine, lifestyle, how you start seeing yourself.
They're really going through kind of a massive change, aren't they? If you're looking at lifestyle and self-image and all of that, I mean, it's not a small thing.
No, that's why I always tell the clients who find me and are willing to work, and I am in return willing to work because there's a lot of energy issues that I see. I don't feel like working with women in 30s because they kind of still have that mindset that Western medicine, one pill can change a lot. I like to take women who are in the later stage where they have really done all these things and given up on life itself, because at that point is where they find me as kind of helper, healer, as a coach. So from there, they're willing to listen and follow the steps and process, and it gets easier.
You're saying that birth control pills, long-term use of birth control pills has a really far-reaching effect on the body. What can you explain that in a little more detail?
Yes, actually, science research itself says it's such a hormonal disruptor. And there's one client who I worked with for 6 months after she got her copper ring out, where it was like a contraceptive that she used to use. She all of a sudden developed a disconnection with her husband and didn't want to be with him anymore. And I kind of had to work with her for a few days saying it's all okay, because she was really good with this man. She enjoyed her life as being his wife for more than 5 years. And all of a sudden, it just was like a crashing down hormonally and depressing feeling. That gave me a little bit of experience on what birth controls can really do to women's hormones and how they think. And the clarity fades away a little bit. So that's where I would like to kind of work on detox with such women so that it can help bring clarity and still stick with what they want in their life. And the pills do affect for a lot of women, which science doesn't really let you know. Yeah, birth control pills are really something that most of the gynecologists here would advise instantly for teenage girls as young as 13. If they go in and say they have heavy periods, that's what they give them first thing. If a woman who goes during her menopausal days or she has endometriosis, they put them directly on birth control pills, and they have no clue what that does or what the whole reason is. They never want to find out, and all they do is just that. So it has caused a lot of harm in many of the clients I see.
You have these women, but you're not promising them that they'll have a baby. You're just promising them that they will have a more healthy uterus. Is that right?
Yes, because no one can really guarantee, I will create you a miracle baby and just drop it onto your arm. Because the damage is done. They have done what they have to do in their early 20s, early 30s, early 40s. I can't really undo all those things. I can provide support to their uterus and make them feel proud that they're a woman. But baby does happen once they really get over all those things and follow the strict diet of classical text, how it says, and follow the herbs and the protocol. It is doable. It's not impossible.
Okay. And there was a couple of other things I really wanted to talk about because I thought this was really interesting. That you have a gentle yoga that you have developed called Vinayam, a humble approach to yoga. and that you offer poses for particular days of the week. I thought that was I have never heard of that before. Could you kind of explain a little bit about what this yoga is that you've developed, and what are the benefits of a particular pose for a particular day?
Ayurveda really gives you that option of bringing balance in your everyday. So if I went to an Indian buffet and felt bloated today, tomorrow I'm going to fast a little bit and eat light. You understand? So that was more like my concept of really introducing the yoga, because average Western yoga class is filled with all kinds of poses, like Indian buffet. You're left bloated, basically. And when you, because I have been through so many of them, and I literally came out saying I'm stuffed up because there was no theme. There's just like, here's my pantry, just dig in and just grab a handful of chips, grab a handful of lentils and rice grains, and just be done with your yoga because you sweat it out.
Okay.
And you went into Shavasana. And also, my husband loves astrology, and we discuss a lot about planets. And in Hindu calendar, every day of the week is associated with a planet. So Monday is a moon day, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, and Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, Saturday is Saturn, and Sunday is Sun. That's why Mondays usually you don't feel that much of energy, because moon is cooling, relaxed, and is up in the air, happily enjoying his times. Nobody wants to work on Monday. And Tuesday is more aggressive because it's a Mars day. Mars is a planet which can do anything impulsively, not thinking twice. And that's the day I really give harder poses, so people can push themselves. People don't have to push themselves, It's like the whole day, the energy around you pushes you to do a little more of chaturanga if you wanted to. And Wednesday is the day, particularly because I do traumatic brain injury yoga and epilepsy yoga. I have found in my experience that Wednesday works phenomenal for those people, because Wednesday is a Mercury day. It's all about communication, brain, how you can connect right brain versus left brain, and how you can work with both sides of the body. So I bring in a lot of those kind of connection where you're working on upper body doing one side and lower body doing the opposite side. So that develops a lot of brain connection and increases your brain cell. And Thursday is more heavy, like the kapha pacifying poses, because Jupiter is heavy, slow planet, but there's a lot of expansion that you get. So you go a little deeper into your own expansive nature, like you find your essence and quality. And it's really slow, like the slow flow goes well with it. And sometimes really a little more of meditation. Friday is Venus day, where you have more kind of movements, dance movements, or a little more of just a slow pattern, but then still very sensual and very elegant way of doing poses, and bringing in that quality of being women or being that feminine side also helps on Fridays. And Saturday is particularly Saturn day. Saturn is one planet which just wants you to do repetitive things, like literally manual labor every day. Wake up at the same time, do the whole thing, and go back. So we do 2 sequence probably around 20, 30 times. Like if I took one sun salutation or vary it a little bit, I would do 20 times of that same thing. And then at the end, you are completely strong foundation-wise. It gives you a different way of going into same poses again and again and get deeper into it. And people don't get bored on Saturday when they do it. They're like, that's exhausting, but it feels amazing at the end of the session. And Sunday is completely colorful. You can do sun salutations. You can do a lot more of challenging heating poses. Really get out that doing, the solar side of your body. Towards the end, there's always that headstand because you need to pacify the pittaness. In my experience, like these days have really turned out yoga poses into such great way of taking the benefit. This is all out there. It's no one's property. You're just using it for your transformation and spiritual growth. I feel like this whole style of Vinayam brings in a different essence with intention, gives what the person needs at that moment.
So, do the students pick a day to come because they feel that that's the best one for them, or do they try all of the days?
Sometimes there are people who've tried all the days. So there are people who really, if they are vitiated with their vata, they kind of enjoy the moon day where it's all slow, where it's all lunar, where it's all down the floor. So kind of yin yoga because it adds to their calmness. And if they're looking for weight loss, then I deliberately give them Tuesday's appointment. If it's brain and epilepsy yoga, then I'm always there at their house on Wednesdays. So I kind of pick and choose what day they should be doing yoga too.
You're doing these classes individually at their homes.
Yes, because yoga was always supposed to be taught one-on-one. It's just commercially become more access to the group one. And two, yoga instructors go to people's houses because they don't want these people to be stressed out. Parking, driving, all those things.
It said that you did offer it in people's home. This was your website, or at Reston.
And I have a private space where I can do a private session. And I do clubs sometimes. I offer I sub to one or two clubs. I stopped doing corporate yoga because I am most of the time during my day with my boys now. One is 2, one is 4. So I want to enjoy their time right now. So I didn't really pick up corporate classes because those are usually around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
You've been on this journey where you started off in corporate yoga, and because of your experience when being pregnant and other people's pain, you've kind of moved into the fertility to delivery. How is that journey? I mean, is it more satisfying to do it this way? Because you've obviously gone from classes to individual to, you've really made huge changes in how you teach yoga. What is that difference to you? How does that affect you to that great change?
I think we're all growing. We're all constantly growing. When I started, I was surprised how Western yoga can certify you within like 6 months of weekends or 21 days. You're just certified yoga teacher. My journey began with going into this corporate office of Department of Energy and having a sequence in my hand since I'd done my certification in India too. So I had an awareness of how a yoga class should be. So when I walked into this Department of Energy, I saw all these people with their shoulders rounded, back rounded, or they're in their late 60s. And the sequence I was given by my teacher here was more or less for Lululemon models who are in their 20s and 30s. I had to throw that sequence in the trash can, walk into the room and start my journey of teaching yoga. That really gave me complete satisfaction of helping people. And soon they started noticing how they could work or they could do certain poses, how they were not rounding their back anymore or being tired. So all those things brought me more towards, okay, gym setting needs this kind of yoga too. And corporate world needs this kind of yoga too. And then I eventually said, okay, you know what? I have to start my Ayurveda journey because there's more depth to learning diet because I wanted to help these people even more than just the yoga poses. So that took me more deeper into Ayurveda. My teacher is from Pune. She teaches all around the world, and it's very convenient for me to learn from her because most of the Western Ayurvedic teacher kind of really do more Western Ayurveda, which is not classical. And I like this lady's passion because she's never told me, you know what, those words cost extra, so pay me more and then I'll teach you that whole module next time. This is always giving me saying, this is in this textbook, just go through it. Or if I ask any doubt about any client, she's willing to work with me to help that client out. So I love that passion and just wanted to be like her. Made me step into Ayurveda. And then onwards, it was more like, okay, what are the fields where Western medicine sucks? So, so that took me into first gynecology because they only have birth control pills or they're ready to just get the uterus out of a woman's body. So they only have two options. Second, dermatology because they're just going with either they'll do laser or they will give you steroids. A third was more or less obstetrics, where they scare pregnant women saying you're just a sickness, you can't deliver on your own. We need to really intervene and then pull the baby out because you're a helpless woman. Those three fields kind of said, you know what? They need a little bit of change. They need some change somewhere. Also, I was a nurse aide kind of in my daughter's public school, and I saw these kids who came with their medicinal boxes. Like I initially thought, what are those boxes? Maybe it's crayons or color pencils like I used to take. But no, they came with insulin. That just drives me crazy because these kids used to eat a slice of pizza, a box of juice, and Cheetos. And I'm like, okay, and then you calorie count it and then give them an insulin shot. I was like, diet sucks because that's what Western medicine says. You know, there's no difference between eating an apple and drinking a Coke because both are same calories. And I'm like, kill me now. So when people come with, oh, I ate this, I love ice cream and I eat it constantly, I'm like, okay, but do you know how long it's been sitting there? So that's one, that's another reason why I had to get into the panchakarma, the diet process, dietetics of what you need to eat with what disease. Once I started this journey, I haven't been to a doctor for 8 years now. And I did my own labor, my own delivery for my fourth one in the bathtub with my husband. Nobody knew whether the baby was head down or head up. I was really brave. We didn't get any ultrasound or to really check anything, no blood work. I wanted to do it just the way olden days women did. That gave me enormous power to work with all these women because I was experienced. I mean, like, I know how the baby comes out. You don't need anybody to just get in between and do these things. And my kids, none of them get ever sick. So I don't think I ever go to pediatricians or any doctors because I know how to really maintain my family's health and bring them immunity when they really need it. It all happens thanks to Ayurveda and the ancient knowledge. And I'm still growing, lots to learn, lot of people to help. Yeah, and healing also helps with all the disharmony that's created in relationship because that's one more huge problem around the world.
I would
So
like
that's
to
my journey.
add one more medical specialty to it, and that's geriatrics. I teach seniors, and Western medicine has very little for seniors. It's just you're old and you're sick, and that's just the way it is. And I think there's more to be done. So, you know, when you have a free moment, which I don't think you do with a 2 and a 4-year-old, that's another area you might want to try.
Sure, I'll look into it. I'm always open.
Okay. Oh, this is great. This has been really interesting. I haven't heard any of this before. You've made this journey and you, like you say, you're open. What else do you think that you could add to it? Or do you think that you're just going to be really studying more deeply in the areas that you're already in?
Yes, definitely. I like to go deeper into the things I know already and know more from different perspective, but also not really curbing my growth. Like I want to grow even into different aspects of it. The one aspect is where people have such trust in doctors or Western medicine. There's a lot of placebo effects that happen, but there are also people who really trust and get disappointed. And that's something that really needs to be, addressed in so many ways because Western medicine knows how to just drug people, but never think about how they are emotionally. Nobody supports them or nobody really helps them to cope up with what's happening, even if it is like chemotherapy. But nobody's really holding their hand and really saying it's all going to be fine. They just give you all the medicines and say, okay, you have cancer. It sucks, but suck it up. That's one place where I really feel humans need more support, help, and really find the root cause of why did I get this cancer in the first place? Because nobody thinks that way. They just feel like, oh, I have this doctor whom I've donated my body and my mind and my soul, and he's sort of taking care of me while the health insurance pays me to do that. But they don't think twice, like, is this doctor even really telling me the right thing? They don't ask themselves. That self-awareness is not there. That's important to really know, is it really good for me? Is it worth doing this? Is it a big step? Like, I have seen so many of people who just volunteer to take their gallbladder out, like instant, or their pancreas out. I mean, not pancreas, I mean prostate out. Sorry, they don't do pancreas yet. I know. So it really kind of gives me a place where why did humans lose their sacredness towards their body? It's their vehicle. What happened? Why are they not respecting it? Did the fear take over so much that they want to be in denial? Or can they really heal themselves? Because body can heal itself anytime. Yeah. It's just a matter of awareness and how you see it.
How does that fit, though, with the yoga culture of gurus? Because I have a real problem with that the guru issues.
Gurus are just big corporations, like medicinal field. Again, it's just the same thing. But these people like to go into different aspects. To some extent, the doctor profession puts a lot of fear-based emotion. Guru people like to take advantage of your trust and belief. You learn somebody is there to light your path. You don't hold on to that light and say, you are my divine being. You still walk on the path. And if the light shines, as long as your path is lit, you're fine. If not, there will be somebody else who's going to come and light your path. Like, they all are doing their roles. You can't hold on to one light and say, you're my supreme divine person. For that matter, like, I have had several gurus. They've all guided me. I've taken good things from them. I know whatever they have as minus, it's not my problem, but I keep going on. I don't think I can ever follow one guru and just worship them, because they're all humans again, and they're all the spark of divine, just like me. So there's no difference between them or me, just that they might have walked the path a little more experience, but they're here to leave everything and leave the planet at some time. So they're not taking anything.
Is there anything that you would like to add that we haven't covered?
Nothing is on my mind exactly right now, but I just want people to know, if they are said they're diabetic or they have blood pressure, it's not through hereditary. It's just that they have been downloaded a pattern of thoughts from their parents, and that's what they're running on. There's nothing called hereditary, because most of the doctors tend to use that so that you can accept it and say, you know what, it's hereditary. I just have no choice. I'm just this victim. That's something that most of the people have started to do, because they just feel like they're choiceless. They hit dead end and they don't know where to go, because what do I do? Well, my parents had this, so I'm carrying their burden. But no, take it out just one day and look at the world in a different perspective, saying, I want to change this, and things will change. Another one is when they go to a doctor and say, oh, my blood pressure is this much and I have to take these pills for all my life. Think twice, because those people are basing all these things on their statistics, which doesn't really make any sense, because their research involves like probably 500 people who have absolutely no connection to this. And they just say, oh, look at this statistic says your blood pressure needs to be this much only. It's like, once you go into a doctor's office, you are never out of it. You are patient for life. Go for real emergencies. We love doctors. We need them for everything. But small things, just think twice. That's all. Like, be responsible for your health. Nobody can take care of you.
That's wonderful.
As much as you can take care of yourself.
If any of you would like to talk to Vinaya or contact her, she has a website. It's www.vinayam.com, and I'll spell that. It's VINAYAM.com. And her email is Vinaya Saunders at gmail.com. And it's Vinaya Saunders, Saunders. And she has a Facebook page, which is Heal Humbly. Any of those three would probably
Yes.
you'd be able to contact her about any of this we've talked about. And we've had quite a far-ranging conversation, which is always good in a podcast. I want to thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast and bringing such an interesting view to Western medicine and Ayurveda and yoga. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I really enjoyed talking to you. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful interview. If you would like to be a guest on Changing the Face of Yoga, please go to my website, www.yogalightness.com.au, and under the Changing the Face of Yoga tab, you can complete Be Our Guest form. After reviewing the form and finding it applicable to this podcast, we will send you a link to schedule an interview. Please download, review, and tell your friends of any podcasts that are of interest to you and to them. If you would like to contact me, send an email to info@yogalightness.com.au. And thank you for listening to Changing the Face of Yoga.